Hey everybody, Serena's en route here. Like every time we try to do a live video, our kids start freaking out at us. We're really pumped. So this weekend we finally made it to $10,000 in sales for
10K!
the summer. Which, it's more than just a little milestone. It means that we can qualify for farm status in our province, right? Our province has this specific designation, which comes with a bunch of tax benefits, and it means we can sell on the road now, which is a big one.
Well, like we can put a farm stand in front of our property.
Yeah, we're allowed to do that.
Not that we're going to be traveling veggie salesmen.
No, but we can build a farm stand on the frontage of our property, and we can sell to people on the road, which in the long term is a big part of our business plan.
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, we think that we can get. We have a very busy street in front of us, so we think that there's a lot of potential for Farmstand.
Okay, and what else? What are the other reasons why we wanted farm status? All the perks.
Yeah, so it lowers our income or our property taxes by a bunch. Property taxes are kind of split up into where like the land value and then the property value, and essentially once you get farm status you stop paying tax on the property value side of it, like the land side. You just pay for the buildings that are on there, so
which is low for us. The land is high, the buildings are low.
Yeah.
For our specific property.
So that's a big one.
And then the other really big perk is that our water bill gets charged at a different rate. Right now, we are using like the residential rate on our water consumption, and our spring water bill was like $900.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see it be a little bit less than that.
That's $300 a month because it's a 3-month
for the spring, when it's like the only time of year we get rain.
But we're kind of worried because we haven't got the 3 months of summertime bill yet, so it's going to be like ridiculous.
It's going to be very, very expensive. But
in the long term, this is only grossing 10,000. We want to gross way more than that in a season, but this was just our first season, kind of dipping our toes in the water and figuring out like how to do all this and all that type of stuff. There's lots of good news. We have lots of good news, I'd say. Well, we're selling at another market now, and that other market is part of like there's 3 different markets that all are run by the same organization, and it's kind of like the smallest and worst of the 3. It's still cool.
Yeah, it's
still a cool
like
market.
It's a brand new market in a spot that people don't know about. Like we've told our friends and family that we're selling there, and they're like, "Oh, like never heard of it." Mm-hmm. So it's
also at a time. It's Sunday morning downtown. They shut off a little section of road downtown, and it's not the type of time and place where people are going grocery shopping. There's a Wednesday market and there's a Saturday market, and those ones are like just packed with people. And people are using it as their grocery store. It's been going on for, decades.
Yeah. We've visited a few farmers markets kind of like, in big cities down in the States where it was like a big tourist destination.
Yeah, like in Santa Fe.
We went to like in Santa Fe it was like, oh, number one thing to do in Santa Fe, you got to check out their farmers market. And we were like, this is something that's like...
Yeah.
Because we're so spoiled by this specific market.
Yeah.
It's really... really exceptional.
Talking to the person who runs the market, they estimate that 10,000 people go through the Saturday market. And, what would you say?
The Wednesday market's way quieter, but it probably still gets like, on a bad day, like 3,000 people, and like they're there to
grocery shop.
Or not even, they're there to like buy treats for themselves. It's a totally different clientele than what we are dealing with down in Lake Country.
But the Sunday market that we've started doing, the clientele there is like, hey, let's go downtown after, having a drink. And
it's like Sunday brunch crowd.
So they just kind of are walking through. We have been doing well at that market with our flowers, which we expected. like we sold like 20 or so bouquets of flowers. So
Yeah,
about,
because like, what did you do? We did like just over 500, but probably 50% of the sales were
yeah,
flower
it was like
sales.
$200 in flowers
Yeah.
that we sold. And that's compared to the Lake Country Market where we were selling kind of between a dozen, give or take,
Yeah, 10.
10 to
You know,
15.
they're definitely, well,
Yeah, we sold
they're
some 15.
yeah, they're not selling as quickly in Lake Country.
Yeah, but getting into the Sunday market, it's kind of a hassle because, it's a bit of a drive and it's Sunday morning and it makes for a really busy kind of boo market time. But it means that we're going to be able to jump into the Wednesday market and
Which
then,
is the bigger one.
yeah, and we are excited because, those start
That's a
being like,
market where we can bring whatever we can get. We can fill up our vehicle, like harvest for 2 days, bring everything we can possibly bring, and have a good chance of selling out.
yeah, like we could sell $1,000. I don't think it's unreasonable to think
No, for sure.
that we could sell $1,500.
Yeah, even on a Wednesday.
Yeah, even on a Wednesday. So that starts to be something where this farm gets to be like viable
Yeah.
in the, so it's not there yet. We're only selling, we sold $10,000 all season.
Yeah, and
We,
4,000. Okay, well, I want to talk a bit about the 10,000.
Yeah.
Because the idea that we were going. So the plan that I made over the winter was that we were gonna try to sell $10,000 within the season to get the farm status, and we figured it was gonna take like
into September.
or like even past September.
Yeah.
Like I was making, because our Lake Country Farmers Market ends at the end of September, and I was thinking we are still gonna have to sell in October
Yeah.
to make our 10,000.
We thought we were going to be able to do it, not too much problem.
Yeah, we knew there was a good chance we'd make it, but we thought it would be kind of like the peak would be 10,000, and maybe we'd be like, oh, we're at 9.5, and we really need to try to get that last 500.
Yeah.
So that's part of like why we're so excited about the 10,000, because we're sitting here, and I'm looking down at the farm, and I'm thinking about these different opportunities that we have, and I think there's a good chance. I could maybe even harvest and sell another 8,000 out of, what I have and what I'm planning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm planning on like planting over, the next week or two.
Yeah, because we can sell, you could be harvesting all the way to the end of October.
Yeah,
And-
like carrots have been one of our biggest sellers, and I've emptied like 1 3/4 of a bed of our 6 beds of carrots. And, like that's been like a huge amount of sales. So
Yeah.
to sell all of that I have just in the ground is like thousands of dollars worth of carrots, as
Yeah.
well as, everything else.
People have been like loving the carrots because they're so sweet and tender. Like we're not letting them get massive. We're, picking them for flavor
Yeah,
and for
sweet baby carrots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was okay. So that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because over the winter I made my farm plan, and the two things I really wanted to focus on was to do lettuce really well and to do carrots really well, because I figured that those would be the two big sellers. Those
Yeah.
would be like the motivation and the driving of the sales. But I was shooting in the dark. It was just a guess, but so far it's been like really on the money.
Yeah.
The lettuce that we had for the beginning of the market, doing like our salad mixes in the bags, that was kind of like how we started up, like getting customers. And within the first couple markets, anyone who bought one of those bags of salad mix were, they're coming back and being like, wow, you guys, like,
Yeah.
we basically use those bags of salad to convert to customers for the rest of the season. And they've been really happy. And then as soon as the carrots came on, it went from being like, oh, we have like some carrots, to us being able to sell whatever we could bring down to the market
Yeah.
in carrots.
The carrots really brought the market, sales up a lot.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, like it's basically we were kind of doing these like $400, $500 days because we took a peek back at our sales. And yeah, so the first market was $100, the second market was $200, and
Then
then
350,
350,
and then
and then there was another like high 300, and then it was like
into the
500,
500s.
and that was the market
And
when
we
we
were
had
like,
carrots.
woo!
Yeah, because we never thought that this market would be able to like make more than $400.
Yeah, we thought that
we thought
$400
$400 was going to be like a good solid in the summer market day. But yeah, having those carrots, it went to like 500, and then the week after the carrots, like when people were like, "Whoa, give me those carrots."
Yeah.
We had like a 650 day.
Yeah,
So
and then
it was
then
like
it was like 690,
Yeah.
and then we did 695, and then there's been some like weather.
Yeah, and then
issues.
this month has been a little bit slower at the market. It's down to like 550. But I also think that part of that is that people in Kelowna go on vacation in August.
Yeah.
Like people plan on if they're going to go off and do stuff. And we've also had a few people stop by the farm and like be like, "Oh, I just came back from a trip, so I need to like fill up my fridge. My fridge is empty."
Yeah.
And do some big sales. So, I think that that's a
Yeah,
little bit
some of the we've converted some customers that go to the market all the time to coming by our house because we set up our carport with a fridge and a table, and it's easy to stock, and people will text Serena and say, "Oh, like I'm coming over for a veggie box. Can you set it up for me?"
Yeah, we're literally like 4 blocks from where the farmers market is. And we're, just a couple blocks from where the majority of the customers that are buying from us in the farmers market are. So like we have a really convenient location.
Yeah.
That's like our farm name is Red Roof Family Farm, and the whole reason that we named it that is that we wanted to highlight the location. Like from the road, you can see our like red metal roof.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to kind of like be like, "Come to the farm, like
Yeah.
Red Roof."
It's
like,
all about converting people to customers at the farm, because ultimately that starts to get them used to us, and
Yeah,
know.
totally. It's the Lake Country market's once a week, but most people who shop at a farmer's market want fresh produce, and there's no reason
Yeah.
that from us at least they have to wait till that next Friday to buy from us. They can just stop by the farm, and then
Yeah.
good for us too.
Yep. So we're excited about the way that everything has gone. It's going very much to plan.
Yeah, like the planting has gone really well.
Yeah.
Like over the season so far. Part of the farming thing versus having just a vegetable garden is you have to keep planting. Like a vegetable garden, you plant everything in the spring, and then it all grows, and then you harvest. You're like, "Oh, tomatoes are ready now. Oh, like before it was this, before it was that," and you just eat whatever's ready. Whereas for the farm, you need to have something every week. So, every 2 weeks I'm planting lettuce seedlings. And then I'm planting out new lettuce seedlings, and things are getting taken out and beds are emptying up, and I'm planting new stuff. Or like radishes, they're ready super fast, but they only keep for a week or two. So, I have to constantly be planting all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it's gone really good.
Well, the things that I've been really impressed with so far during the summer is that you've managed to get a lot of nice looking kale, like all through the summer.
Yeah, that I was really surprised with, because
And-
it's hard to keep the bugs out of kale.
And
In the heat.
And the Swiss chard has looked really nice.
Yeah, which is another one that can be hard with the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you even had radishes last week.
Yeah, it's funny because no one wanted radishes in the spring, but now that it's kind of like not the season for radishes, when I bring radishes to the market, people are like, "Oh, radishes!" They're excited to see them.
And even though the flowers aren't completely dialed in yet for selling, like, because there's so much labor that to pick them and to make them.
Yeah, and
Some
doing the
like
bouquets.
there's been many pre-market nights where Serena's been up till like 4 a.m. If she's
Which sounds crazy, other than the fact that we normally get up at 9.
yeah.
So it's
We're
like
like
that's
night
still
owls.
like that's still
But
5
that's
hours.
late.
Yeah. But it's not like we normally get up at 6.
No,
Yeah.
our kids will sleep in like pretty well. So it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely like a late night.
Yeah. It's, the, I've noticed that I'm running out of daylight hours now that we're getting like further away from, like the summer,
Our daughter's just coming over here. What do you want?
the peak
Yeah, get
sunlight.
that out of your mouth.
But yeah, so it's been getting darker an hour earlier. And this last week for doing bouquets, I ran out of time and I actually had to put like a little headlight on
Yeah.
to be out picking stuff because I hadn't thought that I had that hour less time
Yeah.
and I really needed it.
But even though the bouquets haven't been like selling out completely, they draw people in to the market stand, and they like
They make the
a-
stand look really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always comments. Like pretty much every week, I've had somebody come over when they're walking by the stand and be like, "Your stand looks the best. Yours is the best looking stand."
How we've been setting up the market is we have all our produce in the middle, and then on either side we've been framing it with the flowers.
Yeah.
So from a distance, no matter which side of the market you're coming from, the flowers are there. They stand out. They draw the eye, and
Yeah.
then the produce. We have like a big mountain of produce, so
Yeah.
it makes the produce look really good. Too.
And if somebody's like waiting for one of us to free up because we're dealing with somebody else, then they a lot of times they'll just kind of end up looking at the flowers, and they're kind of like grandma bouquets, right? They're all like zinnias.
I explained that to Ian that they're like grandma bouquets, but they're like old fashioned like flower bouquets.
Because they're
like
traditional flowers that people would.
Yeah, they're like the type of thing that you can go out and cut out of a garden. They're not the type of stuff that you necessarily find, in the grocery store. They have a little bit more of an antique look to them, but
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah,
Like not
people really like
Yeah.
them because you're making a lot of like different color palettes. So there's pink ones, there's purple
Yeah.
ones, there's
I almost think
sunflower
I'm making
ones.
too many options because I've had a few people kind of like go through the buckets, just looking at everything, and then
Somebody's saying that we should take some pictures. If you go over to our Instagram has tons of pictures of the market stand and videos of all the market stand. It's
Yeah.
just you can't eat the grass if you search for that.
yeah, the link is in the description of this video too.
Yeah.
It's in most of our videos. Yeah, but so like I think flowers are still part of the plan for next year.
I definitely think we need to
we're
try
not
them,
like
do them again next
we're not
year.
giving up on flowers, but
Well,
there's definitely they're not they don't deserve to have the same focus that lettuce and carrots get.
Yeah.
Because
I think we can bring less of them potentially, but also
I think we need to sell more of them.
yeah, I think that we could
Yeah, pretty much.
potentially do a lot of them on Wednesdays. Like the Wednesday market is going to be a
Wednesday-
game changer.
Like in my farm plan for the year, like my entire concept, I have this like really boring video that I basically made because Ian wouldn't actually listen to me to listen to what my farm plan was, so I made this video so he was like forced to watch it and pay attention. But okay, yeah. But yeah, the whole plan was to have at least 8 options at the farmers market so that we could put together. Someone could buy $20 worth of produce from us because our whole concept was trying to get the $20 bill out of someone's pocket. And at the Lake Country Farmers Market, people aren't super interested in spending a 20. Like I've been shocked at how many people are like buying. Okay, go away. How many people are buying a single bunch of carrots with like quarters? Like
Yeah.
people are there kind of spending like the change in their purse for the week, whereas the Kelowna Farmers Market is that $20 customer.
Yeah.
They're the person who's coming there and it's like, oh, we're gonna like get a coffee and we're gonna like get like a snack, it's like a food fair.
Yeah.
And then, if you can get them to stop at your table, you can be like, oh, get a bunch of carrots. Oh, get this, add this on, add this on. Oh, like, do you want your $10 change, or do you want a bouquet? And we can start to get that average sale up higher.
Yeah.
Like, I still have a lot of confidence that my whole farm plan of having enough product on the table that people will spend that 20 is a good way to think about doing the farmers market. It's just like it needed to be tweaked a little bit for the lake country.
Yeah.
Another thing that we'd noticed is like tomatoes. People don't really want to spend a lot of money on tomatoes at this market. And like talking to people have been like, oh, I have a vegetable garden.
Yeah.
I don't have this in my vegetable garden.
Carrots can be tough, right?
Yeah,
Carrots
like
can
we,
be tough to grow.
as a home gardener, we never grew carrots.
Yeah.
Because for us, it wasn't worth the space to grow it.
And
Like we haven't been selling very much zucchinis or patty pans because I think people just have it themselves.
yeah, we're in like the perfect tomato climate, and a very good zucchini climate as well.
Yeah.
And so lots of people have all the tomatoes that they need, because if you're going to grow one thing in the Okanagan, you're going to grow tomatoes.
Yeah.
And if you're going to grow two things, you're going to grow tomatoes and zucchinis. And if not, then your neighbor is growing so many tomatoes and zucchinis that they're like, take these, please take these. And so it's a little difficult to sell. Also, this is an agricultural area. There's lots of big lots. There's lots of people who have large properties here.
We're high-end boutique vegetables is like the joke I've been making. But basically, you don't come to us to buy stuff to can. Like we're not doing bulk sales. Like our price point isn't the price point to like save some money by canning your own food.
Yeah.
Like there's no world that I'm gonna sell tomatoes for the price that it makes sense for people to buy them to
we're
can.
trying to sell everything that's like the best tasting version of whatever it is. Like these are the best carrots. These are beets picked, perfect. This is, it's all perfect. Like the best salad that you could ever eat, right? The best lettuce you could ever eat. Like kale that's perfect. We don't bring stuff that doesn't justify that price. And sometimes, we'll be at a market and somebody will be selling zucchinis for $1 and we'll be selling them for $2, and they're still buying them from us.
Yeah. Like our thing that we've kind of talked about a bit is we don't want to cultivate the customer who wants to only spend $1. And part of that is just there's not enough time in the day to deal with every single person who only has $1 in their pocket. Like at a certain point, it's just one of us or the two of us at the market, and we're too busy for that. So and there's so much more to it than just having it at the market for the time. Like the harvesting, the packing it, the bringing it down there, all that stuff. It makes it so, for us at least, like it's just not worth $1 for anything.
Yeah.
So and I'm the type of person who wants to only spend $1. When I see people at the market selling zucchinis, like someone was selling them like 2 for $1. There were these beautiful zucchinis, and I was like, oh, even though we're like drowning in zucchinis, I was like, oh, what a deal! I gotta go buy those. Ian's like, no.
Yeah.
But so I understand that customer, but I mean, I'm not my ideal customer. If I was my ideal customer, we would never be able to make 10 grand in a year.
We've also been selling a deal that is it's actually like crazy
good of a deal.
It's really good. So it's for $20 you can get $30 worth of our stuff at the regular price. So you give us a 20 and you can pick out stuff.
Well,
worth
the
30.
idea of the deal, it's kind of, we've gotten lazy with it and just let
people are supposed to get herbs.
People are supposed to get like one of everything is the idea. And it's kind of devolved into people like, buying their groceries for the week. But like the idea of it was that we were going to try to get like future CSA customers
Yeah.
with it. But I think we've learned some really important info about doing this, because I've noticed that the people who buy the box, the $20 deal, they aren't buying it once a week. It's more than a week's worth of produce.
I don't know. There's lots of there's
The only people who buy it every week are like there's a couple young like people, young vegetarian couples who are doing physical labor.
Yeah.
And they go through it every week. But it's like that yet again is also not our ideal customer. We want it to be of the size that, like a couple can get it but not start to get overwhelmed. Like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be of the size that every week the person can get it and it doesn't become so much food that they start worrying about food waste.
There's-
If you're selling someone something and they have to throw it in the garbage, they're not going to buy it again the next year. They're going to be like, it was too much.
Yeah.
And so
And that's apparently one of the things that keeps people from
doing
doing
the
CSAs.
weekly veggie boxes, people, if you make them too big, you don't get long-term success because your customers end up dropping out.
The CSA boxes, they look so small to me because we eat so many veggies.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you not eat these in a week?
But yet again, we're not our ideal customer.
Yeah.
Right. And so that that's been really helpful for me to see that this year.
I think we'll definitely have a bit of success doing the CSA next year.
Yeah,
I didn't. Serena,
I think people want to support us. I think people
Yeah.
want to commit to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like people have been like really supportive down at the farmers market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we had a woman who bought like a big bulk order of baby carrots from us to bring home to her daughter's wedding in Alberta. She's like, your carrots are so good. Like if I can serve these at my daughter's wedding, it'll be amazing. And that's a massive compliment, right? It's like, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
one of the things that we get a lot. We bought this house it was built in 1901, and it was part of like the little bit of the town center originally. The town center's kind of moved down the hill because the main highway was built.
Yeah, this
But
road that we're on used to be the highway between
the highway.
yeah,
the
main
road.
the road.
Yeah.
When there was only one road, this was the road.
Yeah, and this was one of the houses that was the town, and so lots of people know this house. Lots of people have personal connections with this house. Grew up hanging out on this property, or they just have been driving by this house for their entire lives, and so it is a bit weird because everybody is oh, have you done this with it?
Yeah, everyone knows the inside of the house. It sounds like the house was for sale for like 3 years too.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's been in our house and they're all like, "Oh, what have you done with the house?" Like they're all
Yeah.
like we like it. We think it's neat.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of a marketing thing too, right? Like having everybody know where you are already. But lots of people are like, really stoked that what we're doing with this is, not an organic farm, but we're a no spray farm. And so people are excited that this is being turned back into something that it used to be. And, it was horse pasture for a bunch of years. And now it's, this little community hub, and that excites people.
Yeah, we're excited to, have it
Stay
kind
on
of.
the ground.
Yes, okay, that's nice. We're excited to have like a community like around it, to be able to maybe do events like in the future, which
Yeah.
is something that we can do with Farmstand.
We've spent a lot of time, we spent so much time just on the property that this is has to be our social life too.
Yeah, we never leave. We're hermits now.
Yeah.
This is our social life.
Yeah, YouTube and markets are the time that we get to interact with the outside of the world, and the rest of the time it's children and just work.
Yeah,
Toiling.
just out in the field all day every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been every day I've been listening to these books on tape or like podcasts, and I'm just like I'm blowing through stuff. Like I listen to like a short book in a day because I'm like, oh, it's only 12 hours. Like I'm out there for 12 hours. But and then I have the books on tape through the library, and my library card messed up, and I couldn't get any more books. So I was like, oh my God! And our library branch here is like it's only open 4 days a week. So I was like, it happened on the weekend. I'm like, oh, I'm out of books. Oh no, what are we gonna do? And so I was like, oh, today was the first day I was open. Rushed down there to the
Yeah.
library. I need my books back.
You thought you had like huge overdue fines.
Yeah, I was like, oh no,
'Cause we
the
have, like-
fees have gone to the point that they've like canceled my card.
Yeah. But
When will you come get tofu?
Well, it's still gonna be a bit longer, but you guys had your treat.
how are we managing tourists versus locals? There's only, I'd say only 5% of the customers have been tourists.
At the Lake Country Farmers Market.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that at the downtown market, we've been selling to a lot of tourists.
Yeah, a lot of tourists will come up and they'll be like, we don't really have a place to cook, so maybe they get some carrots. Maybe
No, but
they
they've
get
been
some-
buying flowers at the downtown.
yeah.
Like, or
I've had a bunch of people say, like, oh, it looks great. We're vacationing. We can't get anything.
so we only done this market twice, and Ian did it last.
Yeah,
this,
and I had
this
some-
last Sunday, and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then we switched off the other day. But when I was there, I was selling big chunks of produce to people who were on their way home. They were like out for breakfast, and then they were getting into their car and driving back to Vancouver, and they were buying like a bag of groceries to bring home with them.
Yeah.
And so, different times,
Yeah.
different customers. But
I had some people from Norway this
yeah,
weekend.
no one's gonna bring produce home on the plane, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of like if for the driving tourists. Like
Yeah.
we have a friend who lives in Vancouver, and every time that she goes home, she like goes home with like a car full of produce from the Okanagan,
Yeah.
just because
We're
it's-
like 4 hours from Vancouver.
yeah, and we're an agricultural area, so there's lots of options.
Yeah.
Okay, so a bunch of you are asking about like what the winter plan is. And so the plan is Ian needs to do some work. So the two of us have been really focused on sales. We, at first we were gonna try to get a farm stand built, and then we found out we couldn't do that until we had farm status. So then that's the reason why we picked up the second market.
Yeah, we're like, let's get these sales
Yeah.
to 10,000 as fast as possible.
We saw that we were getting pretty close, and so we really made a push
Yeah.
for it.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah. But now that we're at 10K, Ian's kind of like, nah, whatever. The rest of the money doesn't really matter because most of our money comes from Ian's work.
Yeah, like I work in forestry and it's seasonal. It's like fall, winter work. So I'm getting close to my busy season and I work away from home. Like I'm not here when that's happening. And so I have to start getting, prepared. One of the guys that I contracted off of last year, he's like, it's going to be a busy year. He texted me a little while ago and he's given me no further information.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even pick up my calls or return any more texts. Just like, it's going to be busy.
Ian's work is like, there's no work. Oh my God, can you be here like yesterday?
Yeah.
Like that's how Ian's work is.
Yeah, it's hurry up and
So-
wait is what we call it.
Yeah, so we like to be prepared for work, but it doesn't necessarily mean that
Yeah.
there's going to be work, but we need to be ready for Ian to like literally drop what he's doing, pack his vehicle, and leave
Yeah.
in a day.
So we've made the 10,000 for the farm status, and now my focus is going to be like backing away from the sales a little bit. I'll still do some markets and stuff, but it's more what Serena can harvest and do on her own, and
Yeah.
I have to.
Which is fine because I do the harvesting.
yeah, it's just she's gonna have to
anyways,
like I've been doing a
but-
lot of the childcare, so
Yeah, I need to harvest and
Dude.
watch children.
So we have a wash station that I have to finish. It's kind of like a lean-to structure, and I've got I've had 6 posts cemented in the ground for like the entirety of the summer.
I mean, the backstory is
but
the wash station and the walk-in cooler were
supposed to be
projects that
done
were supposed to be
for
done
June
for
1st.
June 1st.
But
And,
June
we
1st
still
hit.
have made zero progress on it.
As soon as we started with the markets, the amount of like labor that the farming and the harvesting like provided just took up all of our time. Between that and like keeping our kids alive and fed and stuff. It was
we
just-
had to build a farm.
Yeah.
We had no ground prepped. The only thing we had was our like family garden from last year, which became the flower farm. And then we had some garlic that we'd planted in the fall.
Yeah.
But so all the how many greenhouses do we have now? 3 greenhouses.
Yeah.
And like the entire farm, like all these trellises.
Tons
like,
of work on the outbuilding.
Yeah. Yeah. All this had to get done for us to be able to do what we did. So, everything takes like 4 times longer than you think it's going to.
So now it's time for me to go back. I got to finish the wash station. I have to build the walk-in cooler. I have a major project to do the siding. I did the siding on one side of the outbuilding. The outbuilding's 2,000 square feet inside, and it's just a big rectangle. So
Yeah, in most of our videos, it's the metal, but that is what we got done last fall. And the other 3 sides is still
The
like
old style.
this cedar that we need to rip off and replace.
when we bought the place, that wall that has the steel on it now had no siding on it. It was just paper. So it had to happen.
And like we built a wall and stuff. So
Yeah. And that was a lot of work, but I got to finish that outbuilding and get it ready for the winter time when we actually get some rain and moisture and stuff. Can't stay open like that forever. So those are the 3 like gotta get them done projects. I've got like I should probably do some work on the house. I would like to have a bit of time to do a bit of work on the exterior of our house because we need to weatherproof it a little bit more with the window sills and stuff. Like the paint's peeled off and it's just bare wood. Whoa!
Oh.
Well, thank you very much, Laura. We're both like, wow.
Yeah. Thank
so
you.
nice.
When you make a video bragging about how much money you've made, the last thing you expect is more money.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
And then chicken coop. Like we want to get chickens next year.
We keep talking about chickens, but it's just like
We also have like an acre of space that we haven't expanded into, and
we need chickens so badly. I've been making the joke that we have a plague of locusts because like my lettuce is getting decimated because grasshoppers are eating the cores out of it because there's so many grasshoppers. It's
like the grasshoppers everywhere you walk.
Yeah, it's like
on the property now.
It's like
there's just grasshoppers
explosions.
of just jumping away,
Yeah.
smashing into stuff. But you know what?
But if we had chickens, they'd get cleared up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could.
It's because we have this big field that's like not getting anything done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, I could prep all that, and the thing is that space used to be orchard, so there's stumps galore underneath it. And
that wasn't. It just has the little.
Oh.
One of the things that we found out by people telling us what's going on with our property is that because we had the nightmare of dealing with the cherry stumps, but apparently only the top half of the property used to be the cherry orchard. The bottom half was actually like an organic farm. Yeah. So the bottom half of the property has some small stumps from like just weed trees.
Yeah.
But there shouldn't be the big cherry stumps that we've had to fight up here last year.
We just don't have the time to get the chickens this year. Like
there's no reason for us to get them at this point because it would just be getting them to have to fuss with having them over the winter.
But next spring, like we can get them for $11 a bird, I think.
Yeah, we found out a resource or like $10, something, but it's for like chickens that are just starting to lay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
our neighbors have ducks. Our neighbors have the cutest thing in the world. It was like these 4 baby ducks this year that were being raised by a hen.
Thanks so much, Laura.
and
Compliments and
Yeah.
donations.
so you'd see this like chicken going around with these like 4 little baby ducks following it everywhere. It was adorable.
It was pretty cute.
And then they told us a story about how somebody they knew had the opposite. It was
yeah, pullets, yeah.
it was a mama duck that was raising 4 little chicks, and then it was like, come into the water, come learn how to swim, and then they all drowned.
Yeah.
It was a downer story, but we're gonna have
Well,
chickens.
we're good. So we are gonna have chickens,
Yeah.
and the reason why we haven't gotten chickens because we were like, okay, we'll take chickens. We had someone who was gonna give us.
People were gonna give us chickens.
I know, but we just don't want to do it without having a chicken coop.
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to get time to build the chicken coop.
Once the markets hit, like I said, like the amount of labor that it was taking for all the harvesting and stuff was just insane. Like we had no free time. We did.
Bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically how much we get done project wise will depend for like the fall will depend on how soon Ian goes to work.
Yeah.
The one good thing is if Ian goes to work super early,
then-
it means we'll have money. So then we can potentially do some bigger projects. Like a chicken coop,
Chicken coop we can do no problem.
Chicken coop's like a couple $100 to throw it together.
Yeah, we have lots of materials just lying around.
Yeah.
That could build the majority of it.
We're in Canada. Everything's super expensive up here. But so what anytime we go to build anything, it's like a couple $100 in wood.
Come on, Leah, just
Okay, you know what? Stop it. You're being annoying.
Yeah.
But it's been our biggest struggle this year has been time. We've just
Yeah.
we need to get better at. We need to build efficiencies into our systems, and we've rather than being proactive this year, it's basically been a season of being reactive. So rather than having the system set up beforehand, we've kind of realized that we're dropping the ball and then had to scramble to fix things.
Yeah.
Our seedlings got in super late, which then has caused them to struggle this year.
Yeah.
And it happened because we didn't have the greenhouse up in time, and we didn't have the greenhouse up in time because we hadn't prepped the farm in the year
there's
before.
There's a big pile of mulch,
Yeah.
where that had to get moved, and
Yeah, so it's been. It could have been done better, obviously.
yeah.
And it will
be in the
I would
future.
say don't do it like how we did it if you're gonna, go start a farm.
Bye-bye.
But
Bye-bye.
despite all these, issues that we've kind of run into, I feel like we've been able to spot things that were slipping and get on top of it.
Yeah.
And catch it before it completely fails.
Yeah.
We
Because what this year was all about was trying to, try everything. You know how they say
don't
have
do
a
everything.
focus.
Well,
We're
we had a focus. It was lettuce and carrots.
Yeah, but it was also let's do nursery sales, let's do flowers, and let's do veggies, and let's see what people think of it. Because we were more interested in the feedback from the market than we were in making money. Because we knew we were gonna lose money this year. From the farming stuff.
I know the entire title of this is that we sold 10K, but my numbers for this year was we're going to sell 10K, and for us it was more important just for being able to get that farm status than even the money amount, and that we were going to spend $20,000 on buying stuff.
Yeah.
And we haven't spent $20,000, but the reason why we haven't spent $20,000 is we haven't found the time to spend the money.
Yeah.
we have we probably have a $5,000 tool and equipment.
Parts.
What?
Tools?
No, we're gonna spend $5,000 because we need a Jang seeder, which is like I've been
$1,000 right there.
Yeah, I've been doing the earthway cedar for all of my farm crops, and it's worked. I'd say like it was excellent value for its money because it was like $150 or something like that, and like I could not have done what we did without it.
Yeah.
It's been invaluable, but I think it's worth spending the money to get a better cedar because I've run into issues with it where it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
The Jang has such a good reputation.
yeah, so we want to invest in those type of things to because that's where you get the time, right?
Yeah,
I
like-
mean,
and the siding is going to cost $3,000.
well, that's not in the farm.
No, but
budget.
there's
Yeah, yeah.
like there's
It's-
lots of money.
There's money.
left
Like
to spend.
we're always spending money. Moral of the story is we're always spending money. But yeah, like so, you know, that's our plan for this year was to establish a business and like you know become like a name at our local farmers
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
market, like start to get
And-
recognized, get into this Kelowna market, and we've done that, right?
You know,
Like,
we could have spread it out, so we just barely squeaked that 10,000 by the end of the season. But we were having like these markets were getting bigger, and people were giving us so much positive feedback that we were like, maybe we just need to put everything into the like marketing side of things.
Yeah.
So, like, getting our name out there, like pushing our brand out into the world more so.
Well,
that-
and the other thing too is I have the food, right? Like these last couple weeks, we've been doing a weekly food bank donation,
Yeah.
just because it's like it's what I have harvested and ready to go, and it hasn't sold. So by the time the local food bank opens on Tuesday, it's like just get rid of it. Like there's so much of it.
that's been one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian brought tell them about the bouquets.
Yeah, so
'Cause
we had like 10 or 15 bouquets or
Yeah,
so.
we had like a couple buckets.
Yeah, and that didn't sell at the market on Sunday, and they were just sitting in water in pails. So we're like, well, let's bring them to the food bank and see if they want them. And I like brought them there, and I was like, do you want some bouquets? Like, sure. And then we like bring them out, and like one of the girls was like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. My grandma's gonna love these. You know, like, when you make people happy, then it,
Yeah.
you know,
and like
it feels good.
they're like, I made them for the Sunday market, and
They still
the
look-
bouquets are
they still look
designed to
great.
last for a week. So, they still have a good like 5 days left in them.
Yeah,
Yeah, if not longer when people baby them, which I don't.
you keep watering them. You kept watering them. That's all.
Yeah.
that's
Like
all
I
that
keep
matters.
watering them for a week and then I ditch them because I have new ones. But
Yeah.
But
we
yeah.
actually have just over there. We have a fire pit, and I'm calling it the flower pit now. I'm just putting all the flowers.
yeah, all the
in there.
bouquets they end up
So
on
it's
there,
like-
so it's just
like
this
dry
like
flowers.
mountain of dried flowers. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
It'll be like incense when we light our
I'm
first
I'm
fall
looking
fire.
forward to burning that pile and when we can burn again.
It'll burn good. I've been careful to not put elastics into it.
Yeah,
Okay, so the other part of the fall plan, because we talked about what Ian is doing, but I've also been busy over
Oh.
the last like 3 weeks. Oh,
sorry. I have to go deal with the kids.
yeah, sure. Over the last 3 weeks, I've been super busy getting ready for the fall winter because we had talked to so our farmers market ends at the end of September, and I knew that I was going to have plenty more food than what ends at the end of September because last year our garden was producing stuff uncovered like into December. So like and I have greenhouses and I have like stuff to do like season extensions. So I'll have no problem doing produce into November, but I needed to get a place to sell it. So part of the doing the Sunday market was getting able to do this Wednesday market because it goes until the end of October, and the Kelowna Farmers Market actually goes all winter in an indoor location. And we spoke to the market manager, and she said that we're fine to get into the winter market too. If we want to be there with produce, there's always space for produce vendors at that market. So I've been kind of planting as much as I can in anticipation for being able to do that. So I've put in like a couple beds of kale. Like I have like winter varieties of kale. I have about 400 kale plants planted. I have a second planting of Swiss chard, which it won't survive the frost, but the Swiss chard that I have now is kind of finishing up. And I figure that people will be more interested in buying greens. Like at this market, we'll sell like 10 bunches of kale, but I think that as things like summer squash and tomatoes kind of start to fade, that people will be more into doing the big bunches of greens. And then yesterday and a little bit today, I planted 2,500 lettuce seedlings because we have another 50-foot by like 12 feet or 15 feet like greenhouse caterpillar tunnel, like what we have our tomatoes in. And so we're gonna set that up. We have a spot just past the farm where we've started to do a little bit of prep work on the ground, and we're going to set it up and we're going to plant it like completely filled. I think it'll probably take about 2,000 lettuce seedlings, like nicely spaced, and once they're in there I will be able to let them grow and they'll survive, you know, like past the frost, because the greenhouse, an unheated greenhouse, will keep it warm enough that I think I'll have lettuce for hopefully till I sell out of it. So that's the plan. I have carrots in the ground, I have beets in the ground, and I'm hoping as long as I can figure out how to make it work for if Ian's gone and for like something to do with the kids, because the winter market is on Saturdays, because Leah's starting kindergarten, so she's starting into school. So if Ian's gone, I can't necessarily just drag the kids with me to a weekday market. I'll have to arrange some sort of childcare if he's gone. So if everything works out perfectly, there's a good chance that I have a lot to sell for a while now. And as for light, basically I have like about a week and a half left that I can start things from seed. So I have bok choy seedlings that are, you know, like they're popping up, they're getting kind of ready. That I'll be planting into the farm for the cooler weather again. And I'm trying as quickly as I can to empty out some of the beds that I have planted, because yeah, like if I can, whatever I can get into the ground this next week, like if I can get a couple more beds of carrots, like I'm hoping to get 2 more beds of carrots planted, I have enough heat and light for stuff here to grow over September. And then by the time beginning of October hits, it's not going to be warm enough, and I'm definitely not going to have enough daylight hours for things to keep growing. Things just kind of stop. But the good thing about the stuff just stopping is it's also cool enough that it's not like stuff starts to go to seed or anything. So whatever's in the ground, the only thing that will kind of kill it is the frost.
You got space for another?
And with the greenhouses and doing like the beets that I have planted are winter hardy beet. And we have other stuff to be able to protect things.
Kind of chilly up.
You know, like any sort of root vegetable in the ground, if it gets hit by a frost and it kills the greens, as long as the ground doesn't freeze hard, the stuff in the ground is still good for selling. So yeah, I have enough experience with doing cold weather season extension just from, you know, over the years for the vegetable gardening, that I feel pretty confident for November here. Kelowna stays really mild. We'll start to get freezing weather in November. We'll get like frost here, I figure is going to be mid-October. It will be like a killing frost, but it'll still be patchy. It won't be like it'll go from being like, you know, nice-ish to like all of a sudden it's like freezing.
And we'll have a lot of like greenhouse caterpillar tunnels set up, so that they'll survive those frosty nights.
Basically -5 like Celsius. I don't I don't know how to do minuses in Fahrenheit, but that I have the skill to be able to like make it survive up to a -5 low at night with like double greenhousing stuff. And like so my lettuce, if as long as we don't have like a crazy cold November, I should be good. Just because the Salanova is
Yeah.
a little cold tolerant too. But yeah, I mean, and the other thing too is like we hit 10K, woohoo! It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter if it all freezes, and it's another thing. Like I planted way more this year than what we were planning on selling, and part of that is it's what we've been doing this year is farming. It's not gardening. And so we've never done stuff on this big scale.
Yeah.
So part of just what we've been doing this year is learning how to plant things on a big scale.
Yeah.
Learning how to take care of it. Some stuff is like cilantro. I couldn't grow cilantro like to save my life. But this year the cilantro has done super well.
Yeah.
And
It's probably been one of our most popular herbs to sell.
yeah. But like it's growing it compact and tightly together has made it way easier to grow than how when I just plant a plant or two in the garden it is. And it's the same. I've been really impressed basically with the efficiencies that are gained through doing these mass plantings.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we never really did carrots before because they were just always a nightmare and they were so difficult, and it's really like shocked me how easy it's been to grow carrots on this kind of farming scale. Like my 50-foot beds have thousands of carrots in them, and they're pest free. They've needed a weed or two like over the season, but even weeding them has been really simple just because they're so dense. It's
Yeah. Once they get established, then no weeds are going in there.
one of the we did like some videos with Scott Hebert at Flavorful Farms last year, and we went down and like toured his farm. And one of the things that I kind of left with like being like, okay, like now I got a better idea was basically farmers are glorified dishwashers because you literally spend like the majority of your time just like washing your produce.
Yeah.
Right?
Or washing your coolers.
Yeah, like
or
clean
your, like,
prepping before you go to wash stuff. And yeah, it's like my hands have been super dried and cracked because like a dishwasher, like I spend entire days with my hands just in the water.
Yeah.
Pulling carrots out of the ground takes no time. It takes twice as long to wash the dirt off of them as it does to pull them out of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are talking about cats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're cat obsessed.
Yeah.
Now this has been a rough year for cats. We went from 6 cats down to 4 cats this year because one one-eyed Ginger, he had cancer, so we had to put him down.
And he was so cute because he just follow Serena around like
Yeah.
he was gonna be the.
He was like a total like barn cat where he was like very standoffish and afraid, but then he loved me.
He'd had like because the previous owners had foster kids, and so he didn't just like lose his eye to a medical thing. He lost his eye to a foster kid.
Yeah, we suspect.
That's what they suspect.
Yeah.
And
Like something happened to him, and then he was skittish. Like he wasn't super afraid of me, but he was afraid of Ian.
Yeah.
And he was afraid of our kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was afraid of men.
Yeah.
And-
And children.
And he didn't like everywhere I go, I'm always wearing my rubber boots. So it's like flop.
You can
flop,
hear
flop,
Ian
flop,
coming.
flop, flop.
So he'd hear Ian
And
coming.
he'd like be like, "Ah."
Yeah. But him and Bo, our kitten, they were like best friends.
It was pretty adorable because he, like Garfield, the one-eyed Ginger, would come up to the kitchen door and he'd like sit there and meow at us.
Yeah, he'd cry.
And then Bo would go over there, and then we'd let Bo out, and then they'd run away.
Yeah, he was like,
just come to
"Can
pick his
Bo
friend
come
up."
out to play?" Yeah.
Bo would be like, "Yeah, let me out, let me out."
Yeah, and then we have a little gray cat, but she never liked us. She was like a stray, and last year she ran away a few times, and she was just like living in the shed.
Yeah.
Like like a stone's throw from the house, and we're like, but yeah, so she disappeared, and we figured she was just living in the shed again, but she hasn't shown back up.
Yeah.
So it seems likely that
There's coyotes in the area and stuff.
yeah.
She wasn't very like street smart, even though she grew up on the streets. And
Yeah.
she's like the smallest thing in the world too. But she was such a fun cat to have, because everybody who like saw her, she was like the ultimate challenge cat to get to be able to.
Yeah,
like,
everyone wanted to like get to like pet her, but
Yeah.
she like no one ever pet her. We would get to a pet her on occasion, but even she didn't even like us. The only thing she liked was Mew, and Mew didn't care. Yeah, and exactly. I'm like, she could have. Maybe she just never liked us. Like
Yeah.
Garfield never liked the people who lived here before, and he liked me. So
Yeah,
maybe she found her people.
potentially.
Yeah. But it's been an hour.
Yeah. She was
These live videos always end up being super long. And I think we're losing our daylight. The
Yeah.
video doesn't even look as good anymore.
Oh, so it looks like it's the whole family coming to say bye. Hey, Leah, are you excited to start kindergarten in a couple of days?
I guess now. I'm sorry for the throwback.
Our blonde-haired, blue-eyed children look like Ian.
Yeah. Well, Leah's got my this is my business face. Some people get their wrinkles with smiles, their smile lines. I get wrinkles with my frowns. Like my work
Ian
face.
has like squinty-eyed, like angry eye, like forehead wrinkles, like he's angry, which is hilarious because it's like I never see him make those kind of faces.
But-
So I'm like, what kind of horrible human being are you at work?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty horrible. And also
I figure it's the on the horizon midnight sun. Because Ian always works up north, so the sun kind of doesn't go up in the sky up there. It kind of stays low on the horizon.
I
And
like-
he's probably always driving into it.
yeah, it's more
That's my
about
theory.
the like running chainsaw
Eyes on.
and you kind of like
Eyes on.
squint your face to protect it.
Bye.
But yep.
Yep. Okay, these monsters are crazy.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in,
Yeah,
everybody.
thanks. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
And
Yeah.
thanks again for that super chat.
Yeah, thanks,
That's
Laura.
Super
Like,
awesome.
Laura's the one who like gives us money.
Oh,
yeah.
our sugar mama.
I know. We have to like buy something and like
Bye,
be
Mama.
like donated by Laura.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye.
see you guys.
Sometime. Oh,
Oh.
here we go.